Hey everyone, this is the Millionaire Hippies podcast with your host, Boom Shikha, where we chat about spirituality, business, and health. We all want to live self-actualizing, fulfilling lives with joy, prosperity, and gratitude. Let's go on this beautiful journey together.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Millionaire Hippie podcast. I'm your host, Boom Shikha, and I'm so excited today because we'll be speaking about the fourth immutable law of the universe. To reiterate, we've been speaking about the law of attraction, law of cause and effect, and the law of vibration. And today we'll be speaking about the law of polarity. Now, this is a really, again, an interesting law, and a lot of people don't know about this law. I think a lot of people know in general that polarity exists and everything, but they don't actually, know it consciously. I mean, we all know that light has dark. We all know that shadows have light. We all know that positive has negative. I mean, everything has a polarity. And that's one of the reasons the Buddhists say that nothing is good or bad, because everything has in it the seed for both good and bad. I love this story that I've heard a long time ago that said that a farmer had a kid who had a child, a son, and in an accident he lost his leg, and everyone came to him and said, "Oh my God, I'm so upset. Your son, that sucks." And he said, "Well, you don't know if it's good or bad." And the next day or a week later, the military came. There was a coup or whatever, and they were asking for all the sons in the villages to go and join the military. And obviously, his son couldn't go because he had lost one leg. And everyone came to him and said, "Oh my God, you're so lucky that your son lost his leg. I mean, it's awesome. Your son doesn't have to leave you." And so he said, "It's good or bad. I don't know. I mean, it could be either thing." And it keeps on going like that in the similar vein. His son loses an eye. Like, it's just in general, you can never tell if something is good or bad. It has seed for both good or bad in it. Everything that, if you go back into in hindsight and look at everything that's happened in your life, if you look at all the breakups you've had, if you've looked at all the heartbreaks, if you look at all the jobs you've lost, or the jobs you've gained, if you look at all the relationships that you've been in, if you look at all the losses and the gains you've had, if you look back in hindsight, you'll notice that not only was there good in everything, but there was bad as well. And not only was there bad in everything, but there was good as well. So, for example, for me, every single relationship that I have, been in has been amazing, but it's also had a lot of bad stuff in it, in terms of the fact that I get really attached and I get distracted and I don't actually work on my goals, etc. But I love being with that person. I love spending time with them. I learn more about myself, etc. The same thing applies to the breakups. As soon as I break up with someone, I'm in that state, "Oh no, I love that person. I want to be with them." But as soon as I break up, I realize, "Oh my God, I am single again. I get to do all of these amazing things. I get to realize things about myself. I get to learn about myself. I get to be independent. I get to go out and have fun." So everything has polarity. Everything has good in it. Everything has bad in it. And that's the reason the Buddhists say that you shouldn't judge anything as good or bad, because you have no idea really if something is good or bad. Me quitting my job to start my business, I look at it as good right now. But maybe in 10 or 15 years, I'll look back and say, "Oh, maybe that was not a good decision. I should have done that instead." So I'm not saying that actually is true, but you should never congratulate yourself too much or berate yourself too much either for anything that happens in your life or anything that happens in this world, because everything has good and bad in it. Every single thing that you go through will have a shadow, will have a negative side to it, and you'll be able to see it clearly. But a lot of times we forget that it has a positive side too. And a lot of times we ignore that positive side because the negative side is speaking so loudly. It's so loud that we can't hear anything else. I want to remind you that every single time you go through something, every single time you experience something, I want you to think about the law of polarity. I want you to think about, how is this good if it's a bad thing, and how is this bad if it's a good thing? This is not because you're trying to negate a good thing or you're trying to make a bad thing good. You're just trying to be aware of all the different possible sides, and you're trying not to judge something as something it's not. And I want you to remember that everything has a seed of good and bad in it. So you can look at everything in just a manner where it's just positive. You're not thinking of anything as bad because, it might result in something awesome for you. That breakup might result in you meeting the love of your life. That breakup might result in you starting your own business. That loss of a job might result in you learning how to trade stocks, like happened for me. I lost my job a couple of years ago. I was laid off and I was at home for a few months, and I decided to use that time to learn how to trade options. And now I am an individual who knows how to trade options because she had that time to sit and watch videos for 12 hours a day. And I wouldn't have had that chance if I hadn't lost that job. And so now I can look back upon it and say, wow, that was one of the best things that happened to me. In the moment, though, I felt terrible, I felt ashamed, I felt gross, I felt ineffectual, I felt all of those different things. I can look back now and say, but what if in every single moment you could see that, yes, there is good and bad in it? Imagine the thought where any single thing happens to you and you're able to see, okay, there's good in this, there's bad in this, there's both ends to it, and I'm aware of it. Can you imagine the power that you would have if you saw every circumstance that happened to you in positive and negative? Can you imagine how that would completely change your life? Because nothing is negative anymore to you, or nothing is positive anymore. Everything is neutral. And you will never judge anything as positive or negative. And that will kind of cause you to grow as an individual because you're able to see all of the different sides to everything that happens to you. You're not going to be just looking at the negatives or the positive, but you'll be able to see all of it. You'll be able to be more clear. Clarity will arrive into your mind, and you'll be able to see how you can use that positive and negativity to your advantage. Until you are aware of this, you're not going to be able to use it to your advantage. But as soon as you are aware of it, you can actually use it to your advantage. So use the law of polarity to see the shadow and light in everything. Everything that you do, everything that you are, everything that comes to you, everything that happens to you, everything that you make happen has positive or negative to it. And that frees us from having the thought where you get paralyzed by making a choice. So you see, when everything is negative or positive, you never need to be afraid of making a choice. A lot of times we get paralyzed because we're afraid to make a choice because we think it's going to be good or bad. Because we're afraid to make a bad choice and we want to make a good choice. But if everything has good or bad in it, then you never need to be afraid of making a bad choice. Because that bad choice in your head, whatever might be bad in your head, also has good in it. And whatever you might think is good in your head also has bad in it. So there are no bad choices. There are no good choices. Everything is just a choice. It's neutral. Everything has good or bad in it, and you never need to be afraid of making a choice. You don't need to worry that, oh no, I made the wrong choice, because in that wrong choice in your head, there's also good. There's also good that's going to come out of it, and you can use that good to your advantage. And also, if you have a choice that you think is absolutely amazing, it's a perfect choice for me, there might be some bad in it, and it might come out as soon as you do it. But if you stay afraid and if you get paralyzed because you don't want to make any decisions, you don't want to make any choices, then you're stuck. And you're not getting any feedback from the universe. And I've said this constantly, and I'm going to keep on saying this. Feedback from the universe is your friend. The minute you take any kind of action, the minute you make any kind of decision or a choice, the universe will kind of conspire to send you direction. So you take a step forward and the universe gives you feedback and it tells you, okay, you're moving in the right direction. Keep on moving in that direction. Or it'll tell you, okay, this was maybe not the best direction to move into. Change directions and move in the other direction. And so constant feedback comes at you and you're able to make decisions better. You're able to move faster in the directions of your goal. You're able to keep on jogging towards where you want to go in the way you want to go. And so the law of polarity means that everything has good or bad. We can use it to realize that there are no bad choices. Everything has good or bad in it, so we don't need to be paralyzed anymore. And we can make a choice and keep on getting feedback from the universe to keep on moving in the direction that we want. Absolutely amazing. One of the most powerful laws that you could use because no one actually does use it. And so you are going to be the 1% of the population that knows about this law and uses it to your advantage, which is what I want. I want you to be able to live an ideal life based on the laws of the universe. I want you to use these laws rather than being ignorant of them and letting them work in the background without you being aware of them. So I hope that this helped you. Again, my name is Boom Shikha. I am the Millionaire Hippie, and I implore you to join my free Facebook group, The Millionaire Hippie, where we talk about these things. We bring a lot of different topics into view, and there are like-minded people for you to chat with. If not, I'll talk to you guys the next time I do a podcast on the next law of the universe. Until then, ciao.